No, dead. They're all dead.
Mamma mia!
The following views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the producers, hosts, and or guests of the Bitter Marks podcast. We assume no responsibility for any errors or omissions in the content provided.
Listener discretion is advised.
Bitter Marks! Bitter Marks! Woo! What is up, smooth babies? Welcome to Bitter Marks. It's your favorite non-wrestling wrestling podcast coming to you every couple of weeks at bittermarks.com or wherever you get your podcast from. That includes YouTube if you like looking at us, or if you like participating with us. If you want to be a part of the show, whenever it is that we do shows, just head on over to our YouTube. We do the shows live at 9:05. That's p.m. That's Central Standard Time. Now, the day is a different subject. The day, you're going to have to find that out. And how do you find that out? Well, hopefully you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BitterMarks at both locations. I'm not going to guarantee that we give you a couple weeks notice. I'm not going to guarantee that we tell you the day of the show. But hopefully we do, and hopefully you join us whatever it is that we do these shows. They're usually Mondays. They're usually every couple of weeks. The next one we're going to do is actually Monday, June 6th. Mark it on your calendars. Monday, June 6th, live at 9:05 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the YouTube. Join the chat. We'll talk to you. All of us, everyone on this show will talk to you individually in the chat room if you want. And if not, we will block ourselves. Actually, I can't promise that. I don't know how any of this works. What else? We got t-shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/bittermarks.com, C-O-M. You can email us, bittermarks@gmail.com. And this is our 139th goddamn episode. That's right. That's right. Put your kids to bed. Put your mom to bed. Put your dad to bed. Put everybody to bed. I don't care if they don't live in your house. You drive to everybody's house that you know, and you put those people to bed. Am I stretching for time? You bet I'm stretching for time. If you're watching the YouTube, I'm the only box that is available. There's no one else here. And I'm really hoping that when I mention other people's names, they will show up in the box. Otherwise, this is what you get. This is what you will get. By the way, we say 9:05 and we always start at 9. Is that a problem? That may be a problem for future episodes. I heard a laugh. Let's bring him in. He's my dear friend. It's Pee-wee. Thank God you're here. Thank God you're here. I'm okay. I'm doing all right. I've been since we last did this show, I've been sick twice. And I'm on the end of number 2 here. It's just lots of ooze coming out of any hole that you want to pick of my body. There's stuff coming out of it, and so eventually I might be coughing, and it gets dry and stuff like that. So sometimes you do drugs and it makes you do well, Pee-wee. That's what today is. I'm on all kinds of Hall's cough medicine, or cough drops. I don't even think it's cough drops. I think they're like preventative drops, like drops that you're supposed to use before you use cough drops that just give you vitamin C. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Well, I'm just stretching for time, my friend. So let's bring in the punctual prince of podcasting from parts unknown, Illinois. It's producer Tony.
What's up, everybody? Pee-wee, can you talk for a little bit here? I want to see if...
The chat, and according to Putski, one of our typical issues that we have on the show, I cannot be heard. I'm curious, Tony, if you can be heard.
I guess we'll find out shortly. Sash, can you give us a quick level check there, bud?
Oh, of course. I will just keep talking. Look, I'll do Pee-wee's voice, too. Oh, hey, everybody. I'm Pee-wee.
I personally loved that intro, Sash. You were in mid-season form. It's like we never took a week off.
Thank you, my friend. I just wanted to make sure that I touched on certain things that I forgot to before, like the email and the shirts. Not that it matters, but it's nice to put it in there. If you've never heard us before, it might just be like, what's going on here, So I got to put some new T-shirts up by the next show that we do, though. I'm gonna create some
Yeah.
DPG shirts, the Jesus Fish DPG shirt.
All right.
Front only,
Okay.
nothing on the back because we don't have that option. I'm gonna create. That's I can't even promise anything more than that. That would be glorious if I could get that one shirt up. But he'll probably sue. I don't know if he's listening to this, but he can sue us, I believe.
It's not like they're gonna sell. The Pro Wrestling Tees is still on my shit list, right?
Our shit list, yeah.
Did you now? Last time we bashed Pro Wrestling Tees, they were doing that Macho Man one a day for however long. Did you hear what they're doing this week?
Oh yeah, starting today, Ric Flair, I believe, right?
Ric Flair action
Wow.
figures. This one, I mean, they're all different molds. They're all different flares, and I did see that they are doing free shipping, which I do like. They're
Okay.
shipping individually, but they're free shipping on each figure. I don't know what the price is. Maybe the price on each one is just higher, and that's
Yeah.
how they're compensating for it. But they did state that it was free shipping, so they at least addressed that issue from last time. But still, I'm not encouraging you to go to prowrestlingtees.com/bittermarkscom. It's if you want a shirt in August, sure, order it today.
Yeah, and it might be like unraveling. That's an issue we've had. And also, we get $7. So I guess, yeah, buy the shirts because it goes
Oh,
directly
sure,
to my
we'll
PayPal. And I don't share it with anybody.
That is true. We've never seen a dime of that money.
Also, this podcast is way in the hole, by the way. Thousands.
I do get the emails that charges us on the monthly basis to post this, so I'm aware that you're not Scrooge McDucking this podcast.
Look, I'm putting a lot of money towards this thing. It's $400 a month for hosting. And I think
Is that
it's
right?
going to pay off in the end.
It's absolutely we're due.
Yeah. I guess we can start talking about stuff. I wanted to let you guys know this situation. I watched Ghostbusters since we last.
What have you been doing?
So-
Didn't you have new movies you watched last time too?
That's what I do now. I'm a big movie guy. I'm
Big movie guy, right.
guy. I watch
What
Ghostbusters.
made you watch Ghostbusters?
Because I've heard so many people talk about it, and my wife brought it up, and I kind of wanted to see it. Like, I don't really remember watching Ghostbusters as a child. I definitely did, and I'll talk about that more in a second. But what we did was we watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and then we were gonna watch the rest of like the newer ones, just to keep going. But the one with the females is nowhere to be found. You have to pay for it, and I'll be darned if I'm gonna pay for that one.
Now,
So I asked producer Tony.
Yeah. You asked
And
me
he
about
did-
this, and I still don't. I think you made this up. I don't think that there was ever a all-female Ghostbusters movie. I don't remember this at all.
I can
Wow.
confirm it.
I just thought you were refusing to put it on the
No,
the
he
server.
is.
Not
He is.
Yeah.
I also sent him a link to the trailer, and he was like, "You made this in your basement."
Oh, that's
Not buying
great.
it.
It features a lot of SNL.
Yeah, that's your kind of movie. That's
Well, no. Here's
It's
the thing.
not.
I don't think it's going to be good. I heard it's bad, but I want to watch all the Ghostbusters. So I watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2. You guys want to guess what I thought about Ghostbusters 1 and 2, or should I just tell you?
Loved it. 5 stars.
I think you liked 1 and didn't like 2.
I enjoyed both of them. How about that?
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed both of them. I was hoping to hate them so that I could just rip on all of you guys and your nerd bullshit. But I
Sure.
did enjoy both Ghostbusters. And then I realized that I had seen it before. But there's things that I remember and things that I don't. Like, what I remember about Ghostbusters was the weird, like, Balky-looking dude from the second movie, who's like the
Okay, yeah.
artist guy or whatever. And I remember the
yeah.
painting part. So I'm guessing as a child, I definitely saw Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 1, I remember the marshmallow dude walking through the city.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
do not remember that David Bowie looking guy or whatever it is when they're on top
Is
of
that Zool? Is that Zool? I think that's Zool.
they're like on top of the building and there's like a David Bowie like cat
Yeah.
with like he shoots lightning or something,
Yeah,
disappears
with
or
the dog.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I also don't remember Rick Moranis being in that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good. Yeah, that's the cast is unbelievable. Him, Sigourney Weaver, and Bill Murray
Bill
kill it.
fucking
I
Murray.
think if you can set it up in your life to be surprised by the sight of a Rick Moranis, I think that's like one of the best things you can do. Because I popped like Tito Santana just won the Intercontinental title. It was see how I bring it back to wrestling? See how I did that?
Art.
It's
I think that's a great choice.
professional.
Does anybody really like hate Bill Murray though? Like everything Bill Murray is in, like, is immediately better because he's in there.
Yeah, and I did watch actually. What About Bob?
Oh yeah.
And Groundhog Day as well. And What About Bob was, I don't know about that one. That Dreyfuss guy, I don't like him.
yeah,
it was a weird movie.
Too much Dreyfuss.
It was a weird.
It's too much Dreyfuss.
Yeah, and it was just a little bit too much for me. But yeah, I mean, I like Bill Murray, and Groundhog Day was excellent. But one thing that no one has told me, this is how you get me to watch Ghostbusters immediately. You know the Ghostbusters theme song, right? At the end of the movie, they're playing and they're going through the whole thing, and there's a line in that song, "Bustin' makes me feel good."
Yes.
That is the line.
How come nobody has ever told me that this line exists? I would have watched Ghostbusters on repeat if people would have told me this.
Yeah, Ray Parker Jr. was definitely writing a song about something else, and they're like, "Hey, let's use it for this Ghostbusters movie." And then he's like, "Okay, sure, here you go." Also, Ghostbusters 2, Bobby Brown song, fantastic as well.
Oh yeah. Is that him in the movie? Is that racist for me to say?
I think he does make a cameo, but don't quote me on that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think he's like, I don't even know what he is. But like, there was a part where they're playing the song and he kind of like shows up in the movie. At least I thought it was. I was like, but then I was like, yep, I'm also a fan of Hulk Hogan apparently. So we never know what's going on in my world. But yeah, Bustin' Makes Me Feel Good is worth it all. I actually went to the IMDb page and looked at some of the trivia, and it was saying that he did that song on like a day's notice, and I was like, of course he did. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. He's like, I don't know what else what I got going on. Bustin' Makes Me Feel Good. Yeah, put that in the movie.
Ghostbusters 2, like the guy in the painting, Vigo, I think his name is in the movie.
Yeah.
He was also in Die Hard. But an article came out about that guy, how he was like a huge like racist and piece of shit. So yeah, that's a fun fact for you.
No genre is safe from discovering that cool people are not cool.
Well, so now you have to at least, Tony, you got to put that female Ghostbusters on. I don't know what it is. If it's a porn, it might be a porn. I don't know.
Do you have interest in watching the newest one?
Yeah, but I have to watch them in order. And in order to do that...
Honestly, the newest one ignores the female cast one completely, and it mostly ignores Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, wow.
If you just watch Ghostbusters 1, you'll be fine watching the newest one.
That's the one with Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd, yep.
Yeah.
I'll give it a chance, but I'm going to give Tony a chance to update the Plex Express first. With the female Ghostbusters, we'll see how that works.
I'll advise the committee. We'll see what happens.
Take a vote.
I wanted to send a shout out to our dear friend Hattori Hanzo, who is, am I allowed to say this? He's going to Serbia this week.
Oh no!
Whoa, I didn't know that. For what?
To see Iron Maiden.
Hell yes!
Really?
Hanzo.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. I don't know if he's also going to Italy or not, but he's going to Serbia, and I do want him to at least put his Bitter Mark shirt on a statue of Tito, if possible. But yeah, he's going to Belgrade, Serbia. He was trying to get like me and Bishop and Worm and all of us to go, and we're all like, yeah, ideally that's a great idea, but it wasn't going to happen, and with COVID stuff at the time when he brought it up, and then just
COVID, and then prices of gas and most U.S. flights are through the roof.
Yeah.
How much are Yugoslavian flights also through the roof?
I mean, I don't know because that country doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But you sound like my mom who refuses to let it go that the country doesn't exist. She's like, I'm going to Yugoslavia no matter what you say.
You still believe?
Yeah. I mean, usually off season, it was like around $700, and like in season, it was like $1,000 a ticket.
Cool.
That's what I remember from years ago. I don't know at all what it is. And but my favorite part of the story is that all of us are like, no, we're not gonna go. And Hanzo's still like, well, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go see Iron Maiden. And I just want him to not go very far away from Belgrade, Serbia.
Yeah.
That would be the best thing for him to
emails
do.
will
The
stop.
dogs will eat him. The wild dogs
Yeah.
on the streets will find him and eat him.
He did actually send us an email. It was a Happy Mother's Day email, which makes a lot of sense for the three of us. He says, nothing says Happy Mother's Day like the WWF in 1985. Junkyard Dog sounds like he took a few doses of, quote, medicine before filming, and the inspiration for HBK's ring entrance attire is revealed. Hint, he raided Fabulous Moolah's closet. And he sent a video clip along with it. I'm going to put the audio in right here, if I remember. If we can't play it on the YouTube, I don't think, because we will get kicked off. Although we might get kicked off later in the show. That's a tease, gentlemen.
That's a tease.
Also, one thing I wanted to talk about before some wrestling stuff, I guess. New Japan AEW Forbidden Door coming to Chicago, coming to the United
I wanted
Center.
to bring this up, yeah.
Apparently, we're all going.
I don't know about all of us.
Who is going and who is not going?
I got a message from Santino asking if I was interested. He said, he basically said, I'm in line at Ticketmaster. How many tickets do you want? I said, I'm good. Thanks, bro. And then the next message I got was, you owe me $150.
Yeah, me too.
I have zero interest in going. Do you want to go to this?
No, I have zero interest as well. And I'm also like a seat Nazi when it comes to live shows, so I'm interested to see where we're going to be sitting. But then when he brought up $135, I was like, well, I'll go, but I can never afford to hang out with any of our friends again. This is it. So if you want to hang out with me, it's going to be at this show. And then I was actually just trying to sell my ticket to Suave, who's trying to come up here and didn't get a ticket. So I was like, hey, man, I'll give you mine for $150. And you get to sit next to Santino. So that hoping that happens.
Good selling point. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, he said absolutely not. I think he's coming up and getting 4 of his own. He's coming up with his own crew or whatever. But yeah, Tony, are you going to this? What's the situation here?
I feel like I just got scammed. Yeah, I think I think I said I was in, and now it's like $150. So I think that's how they get you. That's how it's like some sort of pyramid scheme that Santino's running. But I guess I'm in. So
he also said we're going to dinner, which maybe he included that in the $135. Maybe this is some
like
sort
that
of
all inclusive.
Yeah.
Well, you remember
He's
last
gotta drive.
time we were supposed to go to a wrestling show with Santino, he bailed on the wrestling show and then showed up at like Denny's afterwards or wherever the fuck we went to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was like Red Robin or something. Yeah.
Maybe he'll just bail on us again.
He needs to drive because gas is too expensive.
Yeah.
So I think we're all going to go in the bread truck.
Hell yeah.
Which may be the dinner, the all-inclusive dinner. BYO cheese and lettuce, gentlemen. All right, I got a couple wrestling things if you guys want to talk about them, and then
Not interested.
and then I'll flip it over to Pee-wee here. 1, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s wrestling promotion. Do those words get you excited, Pee-wee?
I almost emailed him.
I was gonna say, are you a big Freddie Prinze guy?
He's a smart wrestling mind. I am. Yeah, absolutely.
He has a podcast. He has a wrestling podcast.
I've heard that. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm interested.
He talks about it because he was a writer for WWE.
Yeah, Tony, did you know that Freddie Prinze Jr., the Freddie Prinze Jr.,
like the heartthrob from the 2000s, that guy?
Yes.
Yeah. Correct.
Wow.
Yes. She's all that.
And
that Freddie
2022.
Dream. Right.
Still a heartthrob.
He was a writer. I don't know the years he was a writer, but he was there in the not good years, right? I want to guess 2008 through 2014.
Okay.
That's that era. It's around that era. And he was one of their main writer guys. He's just a big red. Now he's no longer with the company, but he still follows wrestling. He still he has that podcast that's wrestling, and now he broke some big news.
Yeah, and he actually also, Patrice O'Neal was a WWE writer, Tony?
No, but that is awesome.
Yeah. I don't think it lasted very long because he's Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah,
He probably was just like, no, man.
We can't put this on TV.
Yeah. But yeah, so Freddie Prinze Jr. was a writer. He was there for, I want to say a while, but I don't know. Let me see if I can look it up here. television and film. First stint was 08 to 09. Second stint 2010 to 2012. So you were right in there, Pee Wee.
I was close.
Yeah, right in the wheelhouse. He was a writer there, and then he's gone now. He started this podcast where he talks about what it's like to be a writer in the WWE and all this kind of stuff. And then he came out that he's planning to start his own wrestling promotion in about 18 months. He wants to do a 2-hour show. He has the money for a 3-year plan. Storylines based in reality. Men and women given equal time. You lost me there.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I know you're joking, but how can you say that out of the gate? How can you just assume that you're going to have enough TV time to make sure that men and women have equal time? It's not about sexes, right?
I'm not.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not joking. First of all, second of all, it is.
I hated that.
It is about equality now over talent. Like that's what it is.
I think that's ridiculous. The show should come first, and then from there, some weeks it's going to be female heavy, some weeks it'll be male heavy. It doesn't have to be equal.
I agree.
It's very frustrating.
But if you say that, then all of a sudden you are wrong.
Canceled, yeah.
Because people don't think about the thing that you just said. Some weeks it could be women heavy. It could be an all women show one week. Like who cares? If it's the best show, that's what you do.
Right.
I don't know. We're old, though. We're old. We can't live in this world anymore, Pee Wee. Let's find a tall bridge. That's all I'm saying.
Let's go to Yugoslavia.
Damn it. How? I spent all my money on Forbidden Door. I can't get a ticket to Yugoslavia. But he also wants to own the place where they are filming this stuff. He wants it to be a SAG show, so like Screen Actors Guild, like, which I believe guarantees certain money and benefits for the people involved. And then here's the shocking part. No television contract yet. Pee Wee, is there too much wrestling? Well, what's going on here? Are you trying to get a job? Tell me everything about Freddie Prinze Jr.
I don't think it's too much. I mean, I like the idea. Wrestling's hot right now. I mean, maybe you're right that there's too much. Already we've got AEW, WWE, Impact, NWA, GCW. Who am I missing? Ring of Honor is the side put of AEW. And there's a ton of other ones, right? Like there's a ton of like bigger indie promotions that are coming up. And the only ones you really hear about still are WWE and AEW. The rest are kind of getting watered down and mixed together. I don't know how the market will be in 18 months when he's saying that he's going to get this started. I don't love, obviously he knows way more about starting a wrestling promotion than any one of us. Yeah. He's been, on the ground floor. He's been at, what's the word I'm looking for? But he's been there, right? He knows what he's talking about.
Dance.
So if he thinks
he's been at the big dance.
Yeah, sure. If he's been to the dance. And if he thinks that everything that you just listed is the right way to go, then I'm sure he's right. I don't see it. I don't see how the SAG thing is a great idea, but I think that's way more complicated than he's making it out to be. I don't know what the rules are with SAG other than there's a minimum amount of lines you have to have in a project to qualify for SAG. And I don't know how that translates to wrestling, considering most, half the guys never say a word. And then the aspect of him saying that they're going to own the building that they're going to run out of, meaning they're not going to travel. They're not going to travel the country and appeal to all their fans all over the country. They're just going to do what AEW did during the pandemic and do the Daily Center. They'll have their building wherever it is, and they're just going to assume that people are going to come out every month, every week, like depending on how often he's planning on running. At a certain point, you're going to burn out that town. You need to travel. In my opinion, you need to travel. So I will 100% say that he knows more than I do, but I don't agree. In my very naive opinion, I don't agree with a lot of what he's saying.
And there's got to be a ton of money coming in to do stuff like everything he's talking about, because
he's got Scooby-Doo money. It doesn't matter.
I guess, and that's the weird thing, that the first thing that he said is like, got money for 3 years. It's like. That's not how you plan things. It's like, no, you got to get an avenue for the money to come in. I guess, I mean, it's good to have money behind it as well, obviously, but I don't know. It's like, how are you going to get money behind it when, like you're saying, it's just in a building, it's one place? Is the story really going to be that much better than every other wrestling show?
That was my other problem with it, the reality-based stories.
And who's the talent going to be if all the best places have the main talent? You're going to bring me in? Me? Huh?
I'd watch.
I appreciate.
Well, how do you plan stories if you don't have a TV deal? Is he just going to do it streaming? Is that like his deal? Like, is that how he's going to grow it?
I think he meant he doesn't have a TV deal yet, but I don't think he meant that his plan doesn't involve a TV deal.
That's a bold strategy if that's true. Yeah.
Right. I don't need fans.
It's a pretty big thing, though. It's like, by the way, there's already major networks that have major wrestling promotions. So what channel are you trying to get? You're going to be on IFC after Just Shoot Me and Everybody Loves Raymond, or I don't know.
I mean, he could go anywhere. He could be on CBS for all we know. We don't know what he's got available to him. But
we do know
I don't know. I don't think AEW and WWE are that bad. That specifically AEW. AEW is absolutely a passable product and it's watchable. I don't know that an alternative is needed at this point. You know what I mean? I don't know how excited you can get for a new wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
The biggest attraction that he has is that SAG aspect of it. If he can get people unionized, if he can get them benefits and pensions and all of that, that's exciting for the employees, for the on-screen talent. I don't know if that's exciting for the fans.
Yeah, I don't really want to watch a forced promo just so some like end of the roster women's wrestler can get insurance.
Qualify
you know what I mean? Like,
right,
I don't give a shit.
You don't?
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna watch. Well, anyway, let's move on to this. It's a little bit more serious than the last topic. Buff Bagwell almost got into a fight with Butterbean at Diamond Dallas Page's house. This is tough stuff here. Now, if you don't know, Buff Bagwell has his own podcast as well. It's called Rebuilding Buff. He's trying to get clean and sober and like recover and all that stuff. That podcast was basically brought on because he's the only person the WWE ever declined to send to rehab, which is funny when you think about it. But I think he was only there for a day. Like, he had one match and it was such a horrible match that they like sent him home. So I don't even consider him to ever have really been in the WWE. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah. So it's a weird thing to say or whatever. But anyway, he was at the accountability crib at DDP's house, and somebody threw on American Males like video of the American Males. Butterbean did not pop like the rest of the world.
And that's what the fight was over?
Yeah, Butterbean basically said he looked gay. So then he responded by calling Butterbean fat. And then they like talked it out and fist bumped and everything was okay. But tensions were up there, and Buff had to kind of I don't want to say he backed his way out of it, but he kind of like talked everybody down and, in his words, de-escalated the situation or whatever. So
good.
I want to know, Pee-wee, you've been to DDP's house. Was Butterbean
I've been to the
there?
accountability crib? Yeah.
Was Butterbean there?
No Butterbean. Mark Marrow was there. Who else? Ice Train was there, and Eric Watts was there, but the Butterbean was not in sight. Neither was Bart Gunn or Dr. Death Steve Williams. Who else was in Brawl for All? No, but my wife is going down. They're doing a DDPY summit in, I don't know, about 3 weeks, and Steph is going down there, and she's been told that they're going to be filming some of that documentary that they're currently filming. They're filming a reality show around Buff.
Yeah,
I don't know the details on it. Buff is the stuff.
Recover or Die, or like it really is.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's not a joke. So the film crew and all the cast will be down where Steph is going to the summit, and I don't know what's going to happen down there, but she will be in the midst of all of that.
If Butterbean's there, tell her to leave.
Yeah.
All right. Get out of town.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I will let her know.
Or get a picture with Butterbean, please. Also, I guess Buff Bagwell recently got in trouble. He got into a Twitter fight with Braun Strowman. For some reason, Braun Strowman was making fun of Buff Bagwell and the fact that he had a DUI. And then Buff Bagwell was like, "You also have a DUI." And then they apologized to each other. That was the end of the fight. I just thought it was kind of funny. Buff Bagwell all over the news. I think he recently played like Zanies in Rosemont, Illinois.
Really?
Yeah, like a live podcasting or whatever. So.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for Buff. He's been killing it on Twitter. People love Buff currently.
Yeah. He's very wokish. Wokish. Is that the right word? Not what you're expecting from a wrestler from that era, is what I should
Especially
say.
not him.
There
Yeah. And I do have an You Didn't Know. How about that?
Hey, a segment.
Remember segments? You Didn't Know. You'll know this if you watched AEW last week, but I don't think Tony did. So this one's actually more for him. This person was actually in the crowd. Brian Pillman Jr. came out and started talking about his dad, and his dad went to Miami of Ohio, and his dad, Brian Pillman, was roommates. And who was his college roommate? And Tony, do you know who this is?
So Pillman's kid's roommate?
No, Pillman's roommate when he was in college.
Ooh.
Did you say Miami of Ohio?
Yes.
The only
What does that mean?
famous person I know of Miami of Ohio is Ben Roethlisberger. Is it
Oof.
Ben Roethlisberger?
That's a very dark room, I bet you. No, it was not Ben
Okay.
Roethlisberger. But you're in the right sport.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know who it was, Pee-wee?
No, I don't. I didn't watch last week.
And I don't know if he's still a coach or whatever, but John Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's still coach. Yes.
For Baltimore
Yes.
still?
Baltimore, yes.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. They were in Baltimore last week. He was in the crowd, sort of playing along, and then like Pillman got serious, and then like Harbaugh was laughing. It was kind of weird, like the timing of it all, like the timing to have the camera look at Harbaugh while he was like, "This is a joke."
Pillman's
like,
kid has the crazy mullet, right?
Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
the right guy then. Okay. Got it.
He's still very green, but I like him. He's got built-in Brian Pillman, which is always a good thing. So, anyway, guys, that's all I have. Pee-wee, I feel like you have one or two things to talk about.
Literally one or two things. It's not much.
right, well,
Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Here we go. I've had a very busy April and May. I was supposed to have an off week this past weekend. Last weekend, and I kind of talked about this on the last show. I went over the upcoming shows that I'm going to, all the traveling that I'm doing. One of those trips that I was taking wasn't a wrestling show, but last weekend, me and Steph and Connor, we drove up to Milwaukee for the Midwest Gaming Classic for a video game convention. I was vending. I let Connor vend his own table where he got to sell some action figures for $1.
And he made enough to get one seat to Forbidden Door.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did make about $140. The show was going just fine, and I was expecting to come home and then have the following week, as well as this week, to get ready for the big New York trip that's coming up at the end of this week. I didn't have those 2 weeks to prepare. While I was at that show in Milwaukee vending, I got a text message from Big Joe. We've talked about him before. He was Rockin' Randy's Mountie in the NAWF on the Indies. He was the guy that runs the promotion at the Brat Stop in Kenosha that I've done a couple shows for in this resurgence of my career. He sent me a message and said, "Hey, Dave Hero requested that I reach out to you. Are you free next Saturday? Can you ref?" So, and this was just a message, like it wasn't a phone call, it was just a message. So I was able to look at Steph and talk it over, ask her, "Hey, somebody needs me," and somebody's asking directly for me. If you remember the story with Dave Hero, last I left Dave Hero, he was the guy that had a bunch of critiques for me, and rightfully so. And in my opinion, did not like the way that I was reffing, did not like the way I performed. So I was very surprised when Joe explained that Hero specifically requested me. And then I was like, well, it's a week out. He probably just doesn't have any other refs to do the show. And I was the only guy that came to mind. So I talked to Steph and I asked her, "Hey, do we have anything next week? I know it's supposed to be my off week, but this shouldn't take too much time. It's in Waukesha, which isn't too far from Milwaukee. I'll just go up on Saturday afternoon, come back Saturday night, and we'll be good to go." And she said, "Yeah, absolutely. We're free. Go ahead and do whatever you want." So I said, I called Joe and said, "Yeah, no problem. I can be there, but what's the deal? Why is he asking for me? And Joe told me that Hero specifically requested me. He said, hey, that Bitters guy, can you see if he's free next Saturday? I've got the Hardys and Pentagon Jr. coming in, along with a couple other guys, Ken Anderson and Carlito, I think was the name that was brought up, which later changed. But because Bitters hangs around with guys like Cardona, I know he won't be a mark in the locker room. See if he'll come up and rep for us. Right. So
is that praise?
My connection with
that's praise.
A little bit of praise, right? Not the actual referee work, but at least how I conduct myself and how I act in the locker room. I was very proud of that message. So I said, yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but how does he know that you hang out with those guys?
I believe when I first introduced myself to Hero in my resume, I said that I was working for Cardona and Myers in New York for the first FWF. And then he's also talked to, who's in the locker room that knows? There's a couple guys in the locker room that work for Hero that are part of that Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Facebook group. And I think through that, the word has gotten around that I'm one of the boys. So Joe explained that, Hero wants you here. I said, sure, absolutely. Now, I still don't know the logistics of the show. When I get home, I Facebook the flyer for the show, and I look it up, and it says it's exactly as we described. Tony, you might have a picture of it. It's the one that has it's the Hardys. Keep going, not that one. There we go. So it's an old school looking poster. I love to look at the poster. The show it looks like a big show, right? The two big matches are the Hardys versus Mr. Anderson and Chris Masters. And then the other one is Pentagon Jr. versus Juice Robinson. And then I guess there's another match announced on the bottom for a title. And then it says plus 4 other matches. So total, we're looking at 7 matches here. So I'm thinking, okay, he called me last minute. So I got to think, like, I'm going to be a part of I may be the only ref on the card, right? In my head, I'm thinking that there's a good chance that there's not going to be a single other ref on the show because of the way that I got booked. That Saturday comes, and I drive up there. And as I park, after the 2-hour drive, I pull into the parking lot. And I can already see one of the other referees that I know in the Wisconsin area is walking to the building. And he's got his ref shirt, like he's ready to work. So, okay, there's 2 of us. That's fine. So I go in the building right behind him. I say hi to him. And then both of us walk over to Hero. And the other ref also knew nothing about this show other than that he knew the card, but didn't know anybody else that was booked, including any refs. So when I showed up, he was surprised. We talked for a second. Then we went over to Hero just to check in, say we were there. We go to Hero and we're like, hey man, just checking in. Want to let you know we got here safe. And then he goes, great. And he looks at the other ref. His name was Travis, really good guy. Travis, I've got you doing the main. You're going to do the Hardy Boy match. And Bitters, I'm going to give you the Penta match. And at that point, he told me that Juice Robinson wasn't going to be there. There was some issue with his flight or his travel or something. It was just an OVW guy replaced him. But I still had the Penta match, which was cool. But there's still 7 other matches there, and we don't know what we're doing. And we kind of leave it at that. The etiquette is you don't ask questions if I need to know something, he'll tell me. If that's all he wants us to know, then we can figure it out later when he posts the card. I can look and find my name next to matches, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to bug him. He's running the show. This is day of the show. I stay out of his hair. So about 2 hours pass, and I talked to this the other ref. Oh, also call time was 2:30. And I figured the show started at like 5 because call time was so early. The show started at 7 p.m. So I had to get there 4.5 hours early. There was a Hardy Boys and Penta autograph signing, like meet and greet at 5 o'clock. But still, I was there all day long. So I'm just waiting to figure out my assignments for the day. And eventually the card does get posted in the locker room. And I start looking for my name on it. And there's 7 matches. The Penta match is 5th out of 7. And it's the only place that I see the name Mark Bitters next to. I start looking at the other matches and start counting up the different names of referees that I see. 5 different referees on this card of 7 matches.
Wow.
I still don't know how it happened. I don't know. And when I say how it happened, I mean how I got the phone call to even be on the show. There was no need for half of the referees that they had there to be on the show. I was still I was very, very pleased and honored that I got to do this Penta match. It was literally one of the funnest matches I've ever done. I did record it to my phone. I don't want to post the video anywhere publicly just because they haven't released the match to the publicly. Hero hasn't released the official match to YouTube or anywhere, but I do have the match, so I do have clips of it, and it was literally one of the funnest matches I've ever done. I didn't get to talk to Penta, and neither did the OVW guy. The OVW guy's name was Tony Gunn. We didn't get to talk to Penta till after the meet and greet. So the meet and greet starts at 5, but he got there at 5:15. And also the Hardys were also late. So everybody is lined. There's a huge line outside for mainly the Hardys. And it's wrapping around this giant building. Doors open at 5 o'clock, and there's nobody at the meet and greets. The Hardys aren't there. Penta's not there. They're all running late. So everybody's just kind of standing around, forming a line. Eventually the Hardys do come. Penta does come, but those guys go straight to their table. And while we're waiting for the lines to die down, the lines were so long. It was everybody was there to meet the Hardys, and then a handful of people were there to meet Penta. The meet and greet was supposed to go from 5 till 7. Eventually, they pushed bell time back to 7:15, then 7:40, and eventually the first bell rang at 8:05. So a show that I thought was going to start at 5 o'clock is now starting past 8 o'clock. We are going well into the night, and also I'm not reffing until the 5th match. Right? So I don't have to get ready until 9:40, 10 o'clock. I've been there all day and I'm not doing anything. But my big concern when I'm talking to Tony Gunn is, hey, I've never met Penta before. I don't know I've never seen interviews with the guy. I don't know anything about him. Does he speak English? How easy or not is calling this match and figuring this out going to be?
Question.
Right, exactly.
You're what's the finish? And he's Cero Miedo.
One thing I did in the 9 hours I had to kill, I did YouTube and I literally typed in Pentagon Jr. finisher because I don't know what his finish is. And I learned that it's that double underhook pile driver thing. But so eventually I find out he does speak English. And so he comes to the back after the meet and greet, kind of just chills for a little bit. And eventually he finds Tony Gunn and myself and he starts going over stuff. And I've literally never seen a guy more, specifically a name, more professional and more easygoing and willing to work around the other guy's style more so than Penta.
Oh.
There was stuff that he didn't agree with, that he didn't want to do, that Gunn was pitching to him. But the way that Penta would maneuver around those ideas, there was one idea where Gunn wanted to put his finger in Penta's face. Finally, Penta gets so frustrated, Penta ends up biting the finger. I think in Penta's mind, that wasn't a very Penta thing to do. But instead of just saying, no, I don't want to do that, he was super, super polite about it. There was a lot of a lot of maybes. Maybe we do this. Maybe we do this. Maybe we do this. And then a lot of pleases. And then I throw you out to the outside, please. And then also he had shorthand. He's not fluent in English. He does speak Spanish primarily, and then English is his secondary language. So everything is almost like wrestling slang. So there was one spot that I thought was funny the way he called it, but it made perfect sense. He was going to do a house show dive, which is just grabbing the top rope and pulling yourself over and diving onto the guy. But instead of doing the house show dive, it was teasing a house show dive. So he goes for the house show dive. The guy on the outside cowers. While he cowers, Penta slides under the bottom rope and gets behind the guy, so he vanishes from the heel's perspective. To call that, all he did was say, all right, house show dive, no house show dive. And then we go on from there. To Tony Gunn's credit, he knew exactly what he was talking about. So we did this match. It turned out it was literally one of the funnest matches I've ever done. Penta does that thing where he, does his Sierra Romero thing, takes off his glove, and then he wanted to throw it to the ref, and I'm supposed to catch it. And when he did that, the toss got intercepted by the heel. Tons of freaking heat on the entire match. I had no idea that Penta was this over. Honestly, when I got the assignment, when I got there and learned that the other referee had the main event and that I didn't, I wasn't angry by any means, but I was disappointed. At the beginning of the day, I wanted the Hardy Boys match, right? The Hardy Boys are part of our childhood. They're the biggest name. And I mean, their match was unbelievable. The people were into it from bell to bell. But the wrestling wise, the way better match was the Penta match. Penta put on like an actual wrestling match that had like ebbs and flows and a lot of emotion to it. The Hardy Boys versus Chris Masters and Ken Anderson was exactly what you think it was. It was a lot of yay boos. It was a lot of cheap heat tag stuff. It was a very, very simple match, which would have been fun just to be in the middle of the crowd going nuts for it. But the Penta stuff, the way that he was able to, I will send you guys a link to this match just because I think it's so cool. It turned out to be very, very good. The building we were in surprised me. Like when I took the booking, I was just like, sure, I'll go to Waukesha. I'll figure it out. I'll get the address. As soon as I got in the building, as soon as I got in the locker room, I was like, I've been here before. Tony, do you have the picture of me and Jeff Hardy? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is us in the locker room. This was after the show. Me and Big Joe just took a picture with Jeff Hardy. And this locker room, I immediately recognized when I walked in years ago during my original run. Do you have the other picture with my wife? Oh, there's pictures of the match. There you go. It's got to be coming. There you go. Okay, same room.
You can tell the background, yeah.
The background,
Sure.
exact same room. So this is my wife and Roddy Piper on Piper's birthday in 2007.
Wow.
I mean, literally 15 years ago. And we celebrate. I remember this show specifically. It's one of the only times that I've worked. I've only worked for Dave Hero like prior to this year and last year. I've only worked for him like 3 times. It was this show where we brought out a birthday cake for Piper. There was the show where I am between Sherry and Kamala holding long time. And then there was a couple other shows that I've done for him. So but the fact that I have even history with this random building, I just loved it. As soon as I got there, I loved this building. Can you go back to one of the one of the wide shots of the matches? I should have sent you, but there you go. It's a dome. Like, this is a very, very cool building. There's a balcony up there behind them. And the building was packed. There was tons of people there, mainly to see the Hardy Boys. But they were into this Penta match from bell to bell. It was fantastic. I had a great time at this show.
Look at that stance.
You know what's weird?
Look at that form, Pee Wee. Look at it.
And trying to look smaller than the guys, too.
I was telling one of the other 5 refs that I was talking to. I was telling him because he was 5'2", had like kind of a receding hairline. I said, man, you look fantastic as a referee. Me, you'll never find a picture of me in the ring with straight legs because I never want to be taller than the guys.
So 15 years ago, you were in this same building. This weekend, my wife turned 36. 15 years ago, she turned 21. And on her 21st birthday, we went to the casino. And she has not been back to a casino since then. And we went this weekend as well. So 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We're all reliving stuff from 15 years ago. That's great. So, yeah, I had a blast at this show. I'm very, very happy that I took this booking, even though it's kind of cramping my style as far as my upcoming weeks. Like I said, I've got a bunch of shows that are coming up. I think this is my most busy wrestling month that I've ever had in both of my runs. The next week, I've got flyers of them. I've got the New York trip that I'm going to. There you go. Cap on this coming Saturday. That I'm still not sure if that's going to be on Twitch TV or not. It may. If it does, I'll put a link on our Twitter page. But FWF Live 3 is the promotion that Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and Mark Sterling run. That is going to be on Fight TV this Sunday. I don't have any of the information other than as a 5 p.m. bell time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I think is that 4 our time?
Central, yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Everyone knows that except you, Pee-wee.
Some things never change. Why is it so early?
Yeah, who knows? I mean...
All right, okay. I can get on the road after that very quickly. I am driving down. I spent about 2 hours comparing flights today to the travel. It's a whole nother story, but my career is headed down a new path, and I no longer have a company paying for my gas. So these decisions as to whether I'm flying or driving are much bigger and more important to me now, especially with the price of gas. But I am driving to New York for both of these shows. I'm very excited about them. It should be great weekend. And then the following weekend in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, we're up there for ACW's WrestlingCon, which is their WrestleMania. So I am very excited for the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
Oh no! Oh shit! Damn it! Hold on!
Oh,
Damn
Jesus.
it!
We're gonna get
kicked off of
YouTube.
YouTube. Son of a bitch! There's a technical issue with the YouTube. Sorry.
Well, speaking of kicked off of YouTube, Hanzo just chimed in on the chat. He said YouTube has betrayed my trust. He got no notification that Bittermarks was live. He's furious. I'm going to write with a Mantar mask. I don't know what that means, but I'm scared. Hanzo, the only thing you missed is that we're scared for your existence
and your safety.
And we hope you have a safe trip to Serbia, and don't trust any goats that you don't already know. You know what I mean? So
words of advice. Very
always be aware of the stray dogs surrounding you. Make sure you have a blunt force weapon.
Stick. You gotta have a
good sturdy stick to beat off the
dog beating stick. Yeah. A DBS, if you will. That's it, Pee-wee? That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, let me ask you this.
Couple weeks.
So after that show ends, do you talk to Dave Hero again? Does he have any critiques for you? Does anything positive, negative? Did he kick you out? What's going on?
Nothing really. It was so chaotic because we were the 5th match, so I only have the 6th and 7th match to ask him before I take off and try to get out. Again, it was also by the time that the final bell rang, it was already 10:30, and I've got a 2-hour drive ahead of me that I have to do that night. So I'm looking to get out of there. I did talk to him just to make sure everything was good, but that was all it was. I'm not begging him for critiques
No,
he doesn't want to give them. But I always ask, was everything good? Was everything cool? And he said, yeah, absolutely. He was very pleased with the match, but that's not on me. That's more just on how good Penta did and what he got out of Penta and Tony Gunn. But no, I got no critiques, no nothing. But also remember that was the 5th match. 6th match, they're getting ready for the big main event, and then after the main event, everybody's just talking about the Hardy Boys, and they're all celebrating with how good of a show it was. So not a whole ton of time to talk about him. I may message him later in the week just to get his opinion on how stuff went. But I feel honestly I won't get into it just because I've already gone long-winded on this show. But there were 2 spots in this matches that I did not agree with, that I didn't think should have happened, which undermined my authority. But which is stuff that Hero gets on me for, and rightfully so. But because of that, even with those 2 spots in there, I still love this match.
Can't wait to see it.
I'll send it over ASAP.
All right, well, that's it for the show. That's it. Just under an hour, fellas. We did it. This is the shortest show we've ever done. Next show is going to be Monday, June 6th. We'll try to prepare something, maybe. Maybe we'll have a second segment. How about that? I don't know. No promises, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's making me bitter this week is the opening to every single AEW Dynamite or Rampage show. I'm pretty sure every Dynamite starts with a CM Punk match, and every Rampage starts with a Daniel Bryan match. And mix it up. How about that? This past week they did. They actually made Adam Cole open the show. But it seems like the last 27 weeks has just been CM Punk and Daniel Bryan to open the shows, and then they probably just let them go early. They're old, their back hurts, but it's really annoying to watch on TV. You have a roster of 4,000 people. Please give me more than the same person on a weekly basis. Producer Tony, what's making you bitter this week?
Wind. You heard me. Wind. So I was driving home today, and on my pickup truck I have a tonneau cover, which is like a flat top vinyl piece.
Oh no.
And it was so windy down in parts unknown today that it ripped it off of my truck, teared it to shreds. Now I gotta pay $300 to put a new one on my truck.
Jeez.
So
I legitimately felt like my truck was gonna tip over today.
I would have not driven if I was in your shoes today. It was insane. But you know what else blows? Steve Blackman.
Oh, I thought you guys were on good terms here, and now the podcast is going to end because our lives will be over. Pee-wee, what's making you bitter this week?
I'm bitter that we do the show every 3 to 5 weeks. I can't get into a groove with it.
Rhythm, yeah.
Tell me about it.
And part of that is I cannot prepare a bitter because I always forget about it until halfway through the show, and by then it's too late. I'm not loving the schedule that we're on for all sorts of reasons.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/bittermarks. Not even sure if that exists. Follow us on Twitter @bittermarks. Follow us on Instagram @bittermarks. Follow our OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/bittermarks. Buy our t-shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/bittermarks.com. That's COM, as in mostly follow us on OnlyFans. That's it, guys. I got nothing else to say. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Or when I
flip that turkey.
Bye.